Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the demo video for the staff monthly hours spreadsheet. What does this do? Well, very simply put, this was actually a request. People finding that a lot of the other spreadsheets would all have monetary values involved or costs involved for the time, and all they really wanted to do was to get a timesheet for whether it be staff or volunteers, just to see whether they were working the hours that they were contracted to work. In some cases, people were saying that they thought their staff were working too many hours, and they just wanted to make sure that they weren't being overworked. So whatever it is, whatever your incentive is for you to monitor your hours, or for if you wanting to monitor your staff hours, this is a very simple solution for you. Let me just show you how it works. First and foremost, to start up, you want to put in your start month. Now these cells, when you get them, will be blank. As you can see, those have just gone blank now, the blue ones. But you select the month when you want to start. So if I'm going to say January, and then input the year as a date, 2019, just input the year. Then you can see it starts on the 1st of January 2019 and ends on the 31st of December 2019. If you were to say start there in, say, February, then it would start 1st of February to the 31st of January 2020. Let's just start in January for now. Why do you need to put in the start? Well, because each spreadsheet will just basically be for a year. It'll set it up for that year, and then the next year just use a new blank spreadsheet. So keep a blank copy of this, and next year just set one up for the following year. The staff name in there, that's different to the business name, because as a business you may buy the spreadsheet, you might use it for various staff. So just put the staff name that you're monitoring with this particular spreadsheet. And then lastly, put in a number of hours aside each day. So there you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then bank holidays at the bottom. So what are they due to work on a Monday, Tuesday, so on and so forth. Obviously a Monday, if it's a bank holiday, will be taken as a bank holiday and not as a Monday. So you can put in 8 hours, whatever it is that they might need to work on those particular days. Now, in order to put in 8 hours, you can't just put in 8, because it's going to take it as 8 days. You see 192 hours. You need to put it as 8 in the colon and then 0, 0. So 8 hours, 0, 0 minutes in order to take it as 8 hours. If you can't, also some people try to put in 8.00. That doesn't work either. It'll go to 192. So you want to do 8 colon 0, 0. That's 8 hours. So put in the number of hours. You can put in minutes as well if you want to, into each of those days, Monday through to Sunday and bank holidays. And once you've assigned that, that is set up, your spreadsheet is ready to go. Now, depending on the dates that you put in, that date will appear here in the first cell, and then it'll continue from there on. So these dates here will match what you've got in your intro and setup. So now, how do I use this page? And well, essentially each day you've got your expected time on the right hand side here. That's automated, so that'll come from your intro and setup as to that particular day and which category it falls into and how many hours you should be working. So what we need to do is put in the allocated time, i.e. what time have you allocated to working in that particular day. So we can't type it straight in here, that's a calculation, so we need to use the section on the left hand side or override with a grey one. So you can either put in a start time, an end time, and a total break time. Now these two here are formatted as hours, uh, as in what you would see on a clock, so 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., so 800 hours to 1700 hours. You need to put in the 08, the colon and 00. You can't just put in 8 because that'll take it as 8 days and it'll take it as 8 seconds, I think, so it really messes it up. So you've got to put 8 and then the dot, so that goes to 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then the break time is not necessarily a time, it's a period of time, so that would be 1 hour. So you can put in 30 minutes, or you can put in 2 hours or 1 hour, whatever the case might be. Here, if you put in 1, it'll take us 24 hours, which is a day. So you want to make sure you put in the colon and the 00. So that's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with 1 hour break, which means it basically takes an 8-hour day. So that's the time allocated. Now you can fill in those three. Obviously, if you don't have a break, leave the break time blank. You can fill in these three, which will give you a time allocation, or you can actually ignore those three and just put in the number of hours. So just say, no, I worked 8 hours. Now, if you put in 7 hours, as you can see, it uses the 7 hours because the grey column will take preference over these. So don't fill in that and that because all it's going to take is the grey one. Either fill in the yellow section or the grey section here. So you can either, if you want to put in a start and finish time with a number of breaks, if that data is useful to you, fill that in. If you don't need that and you just want to say I worked 7 hours, 6 hours, 4.5 hours, whatever, you can put the time straight in here, and that's the time it will take as allocated. There's one last column here, which is a leave column. If it says you're due to work 8 hours, 8 hours, and so on, but actually you're on leave, then just tick that column. So if you tick the column, tick the leave column, you'll see the expected time goes to 0. If you've put time in, it will assume that you're working when you should be on leave, which means it'll say 0 time expected, but time allocated 8 hours. So if you do go on leave, let's just scroll down. I've gone down to the bottom here where I've got one. If you do go on leave, if you put on leave and you're not working, then just leave those blank and leave that blank as well. If you were on leave but you did some work, put the hours in accordingly. So really, you just got to make sure you're putting the right thing in each line. So either put the time in here if you're working, or the override. And then if you're not on leave, leave that blank. If you are on leave, then check that column and it'll take the expected time to 0. These up here are totals. They're not necessarily totals of the columns, just tallying up the totals. As you can see, if we scroll down, these hours only appear when you actually get to those days. So give or take, it's going to take the total at a particular point, which is the final day. So in other words, it only takes the total up to there. It won't take the total beyond that. Now that might sound silly, but if you actually going to add in times here for some reason ahead of time, it's not going to total them up. So just keep in mind that these totals aren't necessarily just adding up these columns, but it's actually taken the totals up to a certain point that you've completed, the times that you've completed, and then you're over and under time. We've had someone who's put in hours in the future and it hasn't tallied up, and it just queries to why those didn't tally up. So that's the reason there, and that is just a balance between those two. And then moving on to the report, this entire page is all automated based on data entered on the daily hours capture tab. Here you can see time worked within the expected, time worked short of expected, and time worked over the expected. So there you've worked too many hours in those months, but here you have yet to catch up. So that's on a month-by-month basis as you go through and use the spreadsheet. That's a running total on a total basis, those figures, but as a total. Here you can have a breakdown per day. So you've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and bank holidays. So here you can see we work all that time over. Here you can see we work a little bit of time short, just in case you want to spot trends as far as people working on specific days where they might be working too much and other days where they're working too little, so you can change their hours, that kind of thing. And then at the bottom here is basically what we've seen in the graphs, but just in some numbers, so you can see the expected hours, hours worked, and the difference for each month, and then the cumulative difference. So this accumulates each month, month on month. It'll keep adding that month to the previous month, so you can see how you're doing there. And then it's just got those three totals that we saw in the other tab projected to the report. So this report can be saved as a PDF or whatever if you need to use it for anything, but it automatically generates based on what you fill in on this sheet, and that these dates here and the expected times that pop up down here will all be based on what you fill in on the intro and setup tab to start off the spreadsheet. So I hope that all makes sense, and I hope that that's useful to you, and I wish you all the best with your business. Thank you and goodbye.